Great to see everybody. There's just no Wi-Fi where I'm at, so I'm just kind of sharing my I'm at the top of the mountain where I'm sharing my internet service. So I'll just leave my video off, and I have some battery constraints and internet constraints. So if I leave you guys, I'm so sorry. Thanks, Eric, for not even saying yes and just accepting me making you host.
Happy to be here. That's a while that I was not joining again this Alien World Fractal. So I am happy to be here again.
Yeah, thanks so much, Patrick. Good to see you.
I was very busy with the interviews. The last one with you, Duane, that was a very nice interview. I encourage everyone to see this video. That's very professional video, very well crafted, time-stamped, describing very well what is Alien World Fractal, what is the plan of Alien World Fractal, what is about, the what, the why, the how. And I encourage everyone to see this video. And I will put also into the chat discussion the mind map about Alien World Fractal, by the way.
Hey, Duane, what amount are you on top of?
Right now, you know, I'll turn my video on just for a second here.
I know you said you didn't like to run, but you like hiking.
Yeah, I like hiking for sure.
Oh, you are in the mountain.
Yeah, so in the back there's the ocean.
Wow.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's not the
trees,
Swiss,
but you got the view.
that's not the same like in Switzerland, but yeah, that's mountain.
No, those are more hills. Not really mountains.
Less cows, more trees.
Nice,
right?
just the same.
So, what are you talking about today here? I was joining a little late, but what was the subject or the topic that you want to?
Yeah, I guess we'll jump into consensus rooms, but before, hopefully I can make the whole meeting, but I was just going to say, maybe in the post discussion, we could talk about how we decide who's going to be part of the Alien Worlds Fractal multi-sig. And I had a couple ideas. Obviously, you know, everyone's ranked every week, but there is another metric on who's attended the most meetings, and maybe kind of a blend of that. And to be honest, probably just who's willing to be part of the multi-sig is kind of how we'll decide it. It doesn't have to be a lot of people. It could be 3, 4, 5. And that's just to send out the prizes and the NFTs and stuff like that. And the real push to do the multi-sig is the new tool that taught us, Vlad made us, only works if there's a multi-sig behind it. So I'm thinking that this is our 12th meeting. I was going to call 13 meetings, kind of a quarter of a year, a season, so that maybe on the start of our next season, so not next week, but the following week, we'd have that set up so that we have some sort of process to decide who's part of the multi-sig. And the most important part about that is, you know, people being present. So maybe it's like whoever's available. I've just been in times that we need to definitely have a process on how to replace people in the case that they're not available. Stuff comes up, people have lives. So that's really all I wanted to say. And we can, we can probably break into breakout rooms. And Eric, when you do that, it'll ask you how many rooms.
Yep.
And I guess for this one, we do 2 rooms, and then it'll ask you which room you want to be part of. So yeah, that's about it.
I've done breakout rooms.
Oh, good.
I'm a professor, and I've taught 30 something people.
Oh yeah, you probably know better than me.
Breakout rooms. So could you talk a little bit more, since we're recording this, and maybe even for people that aren't here, about what the multi-sig is and why we would want to have one?
Yeah, right now there's a single point of failure on our Wax account, and our Wax account that holds the Trillium and our NFTs and kind of everything that's sent out to participants is ƒractal.moon. And the single point of failure is that I'm the only one that has ability to send transactions. So a multi-sig would be a process that there's a few accounts, and we could set up how many accounts need to sign a transaction. So we could have, 9 of us here, all part of the multi-sig, and then we decide how many people do we need to sign to make the transaction go through. So we can decide if that's 3 of 9, 5 of 9, 7 out of 9, and it just brings resiliency, and it's more of the community whole factor as well, that we're all taking responsibility. It protects it as well, that if Dwayne just kind of disappears or becomes a bad actor, you know what I mean, there's more people in charge of that multi-sig. So it's the right way to have a community in charge of its Wax account. Yeah, and then I could kind of show kind of the work on setting up the NFTs and backing them and all of that. We can decide that for a later date if there's other roles people do want to contribute weekly that they'd get respect for. I'm fine right now kind of doing that legwork. But once it's done and we're actually sending a transaction, we'd have to coordinate and just let each other know, hey, this transaction's there to sign. Sign it with your Wax account, and once there's whatever it is, 5 of 9, then the transaction goes through. So it's kind of the base function, almost as a DAO, right? Distributed, decentralized community coming together to approve transactions.
Hey, when is the Alien World's election or council meeting or
right?
ballot
The
presentation?
Alien Worlds just announced that if you want to be a council member, they have a form to complete that you're in there running. And I don't have the dates right up, but it's coming up pretty soon. So I don't have kind of a list of the council members. I'm not sure if that's available yet. But yeah, huge news that it's been announced that elections are coming, and put your hat in the ring. So just without that information in front of me, I can't remember the dates, and maybe David or Co-Man or someone that knows this can let us know.
It's before the end of the year.
Yes, yeah, next month or so.
That's about right.
Something that I want to say about the MSIG and that we are experiencing into the hidden fractal with Dancing Joy, or in any fractal, that could be the same. Daniel Larimer was writing a cool article about the state of the DAO, or the DAC. That's the new generation of the DAO, it's the DAC. And he stated, it's better to use an MSIG with a smart contract account, an MSIG, to distribute the rewards for the people when they are joining a fractal, and you want to distribute them some cookies, rewards, NFTs, and respect. But if you want to contribute to someone, it's better to send directly to his account, Wax account or EOS account or whatever, because about liability. So he was writing that from the Genesis Fractal one, Daniel Larimer, a cool article. Then Dogman, Dancing Joy has just shared, we have shared that into the Hidden Fractal this Wednesday. So that was yesterday, indeed. And we have stated that's better to send directly to someone when you believe in him, you want to support him, or you want to contribute financially with EOS or with Wax to this person. So just to mention, MSIG is a very cool feature to distribute the rewards. Joining this video today or this community, yeah.
Well, if that's an issue, Bullshipples was, I guess, the first to incorporate a company on blockchain. Maybe we can inquire with him to do the same to limit reliability.
Exact. And I was discussing that with my lawyer in Switzerland because I have give 2,200 EOS to Eden Fractal, and he stated to me, Patrick, nothing wrong with that. With your LLC, you will never have a problem with that. That's nice. 2000. We speak about 2,200 EOS. It's ridiculous. If I was sending about, and I am sending EOS, and you see the U5 movement by Maurice Vanegas supporting the Nigeria and Uganda. They are transacting between them with EOS. And by doing so, they are letting circulate more EOS and doing liquidity dance, liquidity velocity, because $5 in your pocket, the intrinsic value of 1 EOS is greater than $5 into your pocket because it's going to 500 milliseconds. So if each of us, we are letting circulate more EOS, we are generating value. That's not an hazard that the movement of Maurice Vanegas is entitled Human Generated Finance. So Maurice Vanegas, he can explain you what does it mean, really, liquidity dance. That's not dancing. That's really the true. And Mike Maloney, the guy that has interviewed Daniel Larimer last year about the More Equal Animal book, that was the first to interview Daniel Larimer about the More Equal Animal book. He has made a nice video to explain to the people what does it mean to make a liquidity velocity. So nothing wrong with what we are doing. The people that don't want to give a EOS or WAX token to someone, that's their problem. But nothing wrong to give some funds and not expect anything of ENF or anyone else. We have to circulate EOS between us, WAX between us. That's the cool part. I am very a fan of that. And for my jurisdiction in Switzerland or Liechtenstein, also it's a nice jurisdiction, very open mind. We have no problem there. Maybe in US, that's different. Canada, that's different, but in Switzerland.
Just a quick question about that, Patrick. Is that the same idea as if I say, if I circulate $1 once, it has a certain buying power. If I circulate it 10 times, 100 times, you know, it creates more value. So that's the idea, right?
C'est ça. Okay. That's that. Yeah.
Right.
I just asked Dwayne whether we're halfway through the hour.
Just
to move on, and do people have hard stops?
I have one at the top of the hour, yeah.
Yeah, so we should probably get going. We only have 30 minutes. Shall we set for 30 minutes and go?
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
Oh, opening all rooms here.
All energy too.
So yeah, well, wait, if you want to go into how projects are born on alien worlds into their own little independence or whatever they, however it might be.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I might wait until more people come in because they might have some things to weigh in on that.
Sure.
But I think you'll find that it's quite interesting of what's actually spawned from it, not just on the community side, but on other projects as well.
I need to hop off, guys. I need to catch the next meeting. So it was a pleasure. See you next week.
Thank you, David. Nice to see you.
Thanks, guys.
Welcome back, everyone.
Hey. And Dwayne is
Dwayne
his hotspot left.
I think we lost Dwayne. I think his hotspot on the top of the mountain in Costa Rica surprisingly didn't last forever. And I can't imagine why that would be. Anyway, I can share. We did a very loosely structured consensus, I would say. if I may describe it that way. So this is kind of, I'll put it in the chat, but this is basically the order that we came up with.
Okay.
So we didn't do a more official, voting specifically because Dwayne was losing connection, should I say? And so
it was a rough. We got started late because Dwayne posted the wrong link.
yeah, exactly. And
We had
then,
low,
of
we had
course,
low connectivity and had to pass the host. So
yeah. But I mean, luckily for our group, we kind of all knew each other. So that was, we just, Dwayne was basically last week, but I think he has all of their all the addresses. So
all right, in that case, I'm gonna hit record on this if I can, or someone else is recording already. I think so.
it's recording.
Right, then this one's for 1,000 trillion.
I better win one of these one week.
I hope you do.
I've never won anything.
Isn't it Marco who usually wins like all of them?
He won like 2 in a row. He won like both. See?
I told you. I told you.
He won both of them last week and the week before.
I'm sorry, guys.
Oh, I'm
No,
sorry,
no,
2
I
weeks
only
ago.
won one last. I only won one last week. I won.
Oh, I'm
two
sorry.
the week before
I
that.
apologize. I wasn't on last week. It was 2
It
weeks
was,
ago.
3 out of 4.
It was 2 weeks ago. My apologies.
Well, I bought some more equipment in Alien World, so this is funding my my little Alien World army.
Yeah, that's great. Fantastic.
Yeah, well, we'll have to create a a little fiefdom there,
If you win it 5 times, do you get the trophy? Is that what we're going for here?
And then I believe
I just wanted to apologize. That's all.
No, hey, I'm just joking. Win them every week, Marco. Get them, build that army up. So I know who to partner with. I knew who my my army is when I don't have it when I'm being attacked.
And let's be real.
I just want his hackers, the hackers that are good enough to hack into that. Must be pretty good.
I'm sure this is random. I'm sure Marco isn't manipulating this at all. I'm sure it's beyond reproach.
Give me the data and I'll run a statistical analysis of it and see, what are the
I'm not
statistical
I'm not computer
probability.
savvy. Just so you guys say, I know you won't believe me, but yeah.
And besides,
I wouldn't believe me either.
Well, you'd have to be like pretty petty too, to be like, I'm gonna like manipulate this, like if you have those skills, I hope you put it into
Well,
something
I find
better.
gamers do it just for fun. I'm playing. I'm invested in Warsaken because of Crypto Finny, and we have a test run, and I swear they're manipulating the dice, and there's nothing at stake at all. Gamers just do it for fun, and this is why I'm saying gamers got to leave the way in crypto because they just get into it, And Alien World Dice is best use case of black.
So, Codeman, are we going to have Marco win the crown now?
Well, let's find out.
He better not. He better not, because then I'm going to be real suspicious.
All right, if I win the crown, I'm going to give them both away in Twitter.
Both? It's like 1 million crown.
Just
It is a
because.
million crowns.
Yeah.
So
It's 1 million crown.
let's spin that wheel.
Give you both. Way to play naive.
No, if I win them both, I'm giving them away.
Oh, okay. No.
Hey, extra.
Close, Marco. I know you wanted to push that.
See, now I feel like I'm the asshole.
There we go.
Cool.
Will Games is done.
Get to tipping.
Excellent, excellent.
So we had some interesting questions pop up from consensus was a little bit difficult because obviously we were time rushed, and that was the main thing today. We were very rushed for time, but we managed to come to consensus. It was a little bit touch and go there, but we had some interesting questions at the end, like what has Alien Worlds kind of spawned in the way of, be it other projects, communities, that sort of thing. And just in case some of you didn't know, things like the Crypto Monkey project was basically born of Alien Worlds mining. So they're a big community. They started in the Banano scene, which is another form of token. But then they came to Alien Worlds and got a whole load of land, and you can mine their land and get airdropped monkey NFTs, a whole bunch of monkey NFTs for mining on Neri and some other of their lands. They've got a massive community now. I think they're up to like 25,000 members, so it rivals the Alien Worlds community on Telegram itself. So that's one of the things that it's spawned, and they're still extremely popular to this day, but they've branched out to other games, and sort of that project has taken on ahead and gone its own way. Similarly, Sammy Snake community did the same sort of thing. Like, you can mine Sammy Snake's land, you get snaky tokens for mining his land, so it's another form of token crypto. And then they went on to make a whole load of other wax games, one of the notable ones being Nova Rally, and they've sort of intertwined the two as well. So I believe you can still get some benefits in Nova Rally for mining in Alien Worlds, which is, like, you know, massive. And both of these projects have used Alien Worlds as a form of advertisement as well. So they're the two most notable ones, but there's been a whole load of little ones as well. People who make their own art have dropped on Alien Worlds lands. Yeah, people.
So I've heard the NFT drops. I wasn't too aware of where it stood, and the promotional aspect of it. But you mentioned Nova Rally sort of rewards or something beyond NFTs. I mean, is that taking a new shape?
I'm not entirely sure what shape it's taken, because I'm sort of out of the loop on that. But I know he did run it in the beginning, where he used Alien Worlds and his community as a form of advertising upcoming Nova Rally. I think there was a couple of promo drops as well that you could get. So it was all based around his mining community at first, and then it kind of blew up from there.
So
Well, if I could touch on that for a second. I mean, I think that that certainly seems, at least for us, like not to be solely talking about what we do. Was, I mean, I think that's part of the, I mean, at least from the Alien Worlds perspective, at least from my understanding, is that was part of why the Galactic Hub's kind of grant program was created, right? Was to promote, you know, some of those opportunities, you know, or advancements, maybe that's a better way of putting it, for Alien Worlds users themselves, right? So I don't think, I guess my point is that that's not necessarily surprising, because when you have the kind of user base and so forth that Alien Worlds does, that it's better, it's, you know, it is, at least for, again, I'm just going to talk for my own self-interest, at least for us, it would be great. And that's why we applied for the grant and so forth, was to use that opportunity to advertise, you know, kind of like new functionality, right? And so they're using that functionality for their own tokens. I would suggest that, you know, LD2 and what Steve and I are doing are kind of the same sort of thing in a different way, right? Because it's all physical asset backed. So there's a distinction there in terms of the nuance, if you will, of what the token represents or how the token is used and so forth. But I think the macro point of using Alien Worlds to advertise is kind of seems like an obvious choice. Maybe if I could be so plain. So I guess my point is that doesn't surprise me, because that, like I said, that seems like the way it kind of should go in a way. And I think it does. I think it behooves like both parties to a degree, to an extent, right? I mean, I think that there's a point of where Alien World, and it's just from the outside perspective, is we can't have all these different tokens doing all these different things, because now we're diluting, you know, what the value is of Trillium, or however you guys look at it. But there are other advantages, and I would say LD2 would certainly be one of them again, that do add some sort of value to it, right? And I think it's up to, I think it's not up to, but I think it depends on like where that line is drawn, right? Because if you just keep adding token after token after token, you're just diluting that ecosystem, right? If you're choosing, and I know this puts Alien World in the same place that like whitelisting does with atomic assets, that it puts you in kind of a weird position of like picking winners and losers, right? Because if you whitelist this collection, it does really well, and Steve can speak to this, or if you blacklist this collection, then they don't exist, right? And I'm not sure, and you know, and I guess a DAO is, and I've talked to Max about this and so forth, is maybe a DAO is the best way of doing that, because you have the community voting on what those winners and losers on, instead of having like Pink GG, like in Atomic Assets, like pick what those whitelisted and blacklisted are, because like, and I think we've talked about this before, KROWN Man, and I know I've talked to Eric about this, is you put yourself in that position, right? Of now you're the arbitrator, right? And do you want to be the arbitrator? And now, because you're the arbitrator, you have now welcomed on all the scrutiny that comes with that. And that really shouldn't be the way it is, right? It should be that the community is deciding. And so to a certain extent, Alien World or PTG or anybody else is in this position can say like, hey, like, it's not me. Like, it's the community who voted on this, and the DAO decided it's like this and that. Maybe I'm getting a little off topic here, but that's kind of my thoughts on kind of that.
No, it's on point. In fact, we've had instances in the past where it's become very difficult, and we had to differentiate the fact that we weren't allowing people to advertise as such very openly. What we were saying is we were advertising communities. So we might be advertising the Conelandia community, the KROWN community, whatever. Go visit them, find out all about them, and in there they would have all their pinned messages and everything. We had to be very neutral about that. On our Discord, we actually have a section for people to advertise their land and what they do on their land. Come join in and we'll stake for you, or you might win a shovel or something like that for new players. And a lot of the communities focused around that sort of method. A lot of it was come mine my land and we'll airdrop things to you if you're lucky, or things like that, you know. But yeah, we had to be extremely careful.
The same thing, or like their land is doing the same thing. I mean, and the raffle is the same thing. I mean, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I think that's a little different in terms of like enticing people to come to your land to mine, versus saying what are the available backings of that, or what are the go back to that whitelisting, right? Like, okay, I can choose if I want to like go on or whatever, and maybe I say, okay, kind of miners I like for whatever reason, right? But are you making the distinction on like who can offer rewards? You know, I guess it goes back to that kind of like that kind of question, if you will.
Yeah, they can't. No one can control anything. Anyone can. I went to a community. I've been talking to like dozens of people in their communities lately, like all day long. And I went to one of them and started hanging out. And someone saw me in there, and a couple of us actually, and said, "Hey, are you going to do a drop here?" And I said, "Oh, I'm thinking about it." And the guy goes, "Well, let's get to know each other first before we, you know, allow anything like that." And I wrote back, "Sorry, buddy, but you have no control over it." And so basically he didn't understand when our army of people shows up and we decide to start playing a game, that game has an increase in players. And it didn't occur to him because he doesn't know us, right? But obviously the people who knew us knew that and expected that and got excited about the game. I don't think we actually started playing it though, but many of us have been traveling around in force playing games and learning about the different mechanics.
But Lisa, I mean, I guess what the question is, are you doing that to kind of like game the system to a degree, right? Of like, oh, I'm going to buy a bunch of assets in that game and then bring a bunch of users so that I am kind of like ensuring that the assets I own in that game are now more valuable because I brought that army of users you're describing?
No, I hardly have ever sold my assets, but I am definitely playing to win. If I go to a game, I plan and play to be the best player, #1 in the game, for sure.
No, I get that, I'm more curious than anything, Lisa. But isn't it kind of like a pump and dump in a stock to a degree, right? Like, oh, we're gonna find this game.
Look at my wallet, jbhqu.wham. I do have some things on sale now, but it's very rare. If you go look at what I've bought and what I've sold, and that'll answer your question.
Okay. I'm just saying that, like,
100%. I know there are people who do that, and I was going to actually respond to something earlier and say, I look at a lot of things that are being said as there's a path, and you can design the path or not, but the path can split, right? So let's say that you have people playing. Some people are going to play for NFTs. Some people are going to play for Trillium. Some people are going to play for political prowess or knowledge or access or whatever, right? People play on these different paths, and you can design based on those paths, or you could notice, or you could report on those paths and see what's going on. And that might be the case. Like, you know, people say, oh, are you here to work? Are you here to play? Are you here to, you know, and I have a certain answer. Different people have different answers. Some people show up to make as much money as possible. Right. But those are all done like in different ways too. You might think you're going to make your money on the NFTs or on the Trillium, and that, you know, may or may not be true. So in my case, I do like to collect the NFTs, but that's mostly as like a sentimental representation of that time and that experience. And obviously a lot of the games use them, but really most of the time personally, when I am going to play a game, I don't even know if the NFTs I'm acquiring are useful yet. So some are for use, some are for, you know, affinity. But I think most perhaps interestingly, in speaking with so many communities lately, many of whom are early because I know them from being early, but also some newer ones, when I speak to them about it, and you all may experience this too, they're like, oh, are things happening? Like, are things going on again? Is that stuff I have worth anything in terms of being able to use it? And they ask me about a lot of games, actually, especially if they haven't heard about them. And one of the most common things I'm hearing is people need to get their email or their newsletter or their Medium or whatever going so they can communicate better. There's definitely is a gap of communication, and a lot of the players are not hearing about things they should. And I don't know why. Maybe they're not reading it. Maybe they're not in the chats, maybe whatever. But I mean, if you look at the number of players and you look at the number of people in the chats, it's, you know, there's no comparison to, you know, that it's a lot less, but it's more active. So we are seeing, I think, the number of miners, the number of mines per player going up. But the community, like, I think there's a general messaging to players, and I'm not talking about Alien World specifically, I'm talking about in our space, but there's very little direct messaging to community creators or, you know, specifically about that. So like the story KROWN Man's telling about crypto monkeys, and I mean, there are some good stories about the origins of communities and such, but the first being Robert, but and the first drop being horrors, and you know, there's really good stories there, and they continue. And a lot of people copied them because it was working really well. I've brought in a lot of new creators who are starting to create, and it's not entirely apparent yet, but all of the NFTs associated with JR's Lands will have some utility or redemption value. So I think 60 people or winners qualified for a bag of coffee. Jittery 8 just got it approved and posted it, and we're just starting to get those checked and out. And there's several games. Galacta has a new game coming out, and you know, they gave fuel, and Dark Galaxies gave tools for their game, which have real value. You may have noticed the value of Marisol's NFTs on Atomic. If not, might want to look at that. You know, when it goes on and on, some will be used for physical music, some will be used for, you know, gift certificates of things, some for toys. So things are coming in that regard. We're going kind of slowly and cautiously. There's a thinking that everything should be built and automated and live forever. I'm of the thinking that we need to test it and figure out what to do first. And boy, is that a good idea, because everything we think we're going to do is really 100 things. And we would definitely have built it wrong in every single case if we hadn't done that. So even though I know there will be critics who go, it's not a smart contract, I'm like, just hang on a minute. Because we'll do what we need to do, but there's really no point in doing stuff we don't need to do. So it's been super interesting, and of course feedback is encouraged. You can, you know, check the reports and see what's coming. jrslands.com/drops. And by the way, to avoid pump and dump, as soon as we know someone is coming in doing a drop, I put it there as soon as possible, so the whole world can know, and there won't be any pre-buying. Not that we dramatically increase the value of NFTs at this point, but just in case there's any perception that would happen. So
I just think it's an interesting thing to note, like how many communities have spawned because of Alien Worlds, and what they've then gone on to do, be it make their own NFTs, use their land in interesting ways. Because originally, you know, land was just land. You mined on the land, you did things on the land, that's it. But it was always built to be an open system. So if you want to drop NFTs on your land, go right ahead. If you want to use that mining data as a way of rewarding people back, go right ahead. You want to advertise on your land or other people's land, go right ahead. It's what's more interesting is how people have used that open system and made it their own, and used the utility and really like actually spawned the utility of the land versus anything else. Hey Jason, nice to see you.
Hey Jason.
Hello. So one lesson is people have done things to increase their value and their worth. Of course, you're going to get that in any crypto space or any monetary space, really. You know, there's always people wanting to gain that, but it's the most interesting stories are the people who were looking just to improve themselves and what they do, like be it artists or game makers or anything like that, and they've spawned these giant communities that have intertwined with other communities as well, and use that land in some very interesting ways, from like leaderboards, and created their own sort of tools for dropping things. Like Crypto Monkeys is one that I keep on going back to, probably because they're one of our most mature communities in the sense that they built their own drop tool. They have taken that land and made a whole sort of ecosystem based around it, and now award people like NFTs. They use leaderboards to say, okay, well, if you've mined or you've staked or you've done things on Neri for this amount of time, we're going to drop these into your wallet as a thank you. And they're also running for governance. They're using it as part of like their governance campaign as well.
No, man, I think that's like, I think it's just like what's been established for years with like a positive feedback loop. I mean, Bill Gates talks about this in The Road Ahead, right? Is if you read the products and people are interested in, and artists, I mean, I know this from like building my brother's business, who's an artist, right? I mean, we went from, you know, him doing prints in my garage to now he has 1 million followers on Facebook and 250,000 followers on Instagram, right? And he didn't do it through NFTs. He just did it through the usual kind of like I said, feedback loop, right? So it's just a matter of like what technology you're taking advantage of to go to access that same psychological demand or psychological feedback, if you will, like I said. So it's a matter of like, is this technology any better at doing that than it was physically giving prints out? Like, like my brother and I did 20 years ago to build his business.
I have like some of those prints, by the way.
And I would argue that yes, it does.
I just saw them.
Well, so I guess point being that like, are we talking about whether the technology is making satisfying that philosophical or that inherent need easier, or are we talking about creating a different need?
Hey guys, I'm gonna have to switch to mobile because I have to drive down to the studio so I could interview Stephen on the Building the Metaverse podcast. Can I make somebody else the host just in case?
Extra, you can be the host, I think. You're so extra. So I think you can.
Give to Jason. Give to Jason. He's good.
Oh, Jason, sorry. You are also extra. Yeah.
I'll be on for a while. So I probably won't need to hand it back off.
I'd love to hear Jason's thoughts on why the NFT system is providing more value and is possibly like going to overtake the real world systems that we already have in place that we were just discussing.
Happy to. And the reason is simple because
come on, you're just setting him up. You're just lobbing that ball up for him to go on a 20-minute rant.
No, it's only gonna take 2 minutes.
Jason, you know, definitely. I mean,
it's a simple explanation, and it's because the expensive part of any outreach campaign, where you are the one initiating a feedback loop, is the bandwidth, the space, like the billboard, the television ad spot, the radio ad spot, the pay-per-click campaign. The production of media itself is the inexpensive part, even though it can be pricey if you have high production quality content, that it can take a lot of time and resources to make high production quality content. But that still, no matter how good it is, will pale in comparison to the cost of distribution. And the thing about NFTs is that, well, they're another step further. What social media did in the first place is it allowed promoters to get paid to promote, and that they would create media content and then other people would circulate it for them. And they externalized the cost of circulation, right? Because it was just being shared on social media. And the step forward that NFTs make is that somebody else will buy the property of it first. They'll recompensate you for your production quality at the outset, which social media never could. And the hype around a good quality NFT or its good quality utilities is just simply a greater threshold than the hype around a really good social media post had been in the past. And the hype is the fuel for sharing. So, I mean, that's the whole explanation, is that if you want to initiate a feedback loop and get your content in front of eyeballs, out there and make it affordable. Like the affordability vector is the difference maker in that you don't need a budget at all. You can have a department creating NFTs that promotes your brand and initiates your feedback loop, and it can be a profit center. And even more so than social media was.
Yeah. If you see also Pomelo, the crowdfunding platform by EOS Nation, EOS Asia, they have launched this crowdfunding platform to have public goods on EOS. And you have grant owners and you have donators. And the grant owners, they have more weight if they have collected some NFTs. There is a gamification to incentivize the grant owner to have more, let's say, recognition, or let's say be more trustworthy because they have acquired some NFTs. We have also the proof of participation, the POP token, proof of participation token, when you are going into the EOS.io fireside chat every Wednesday, where EOS Nation is doing the EOS fireside chat. If you are participating, you receive some NFTs on a form of a proof of participation. So that's some mechanism that help the people to join, more engagement, more social engagement on the channels. And yeah, I see that like that myself, the NFTs. It's not just about the monetary value. It's because value is not only monetary, it's also collaboration. It's a pretext. Also, this Alien World Fractal, we discussed of that into the video with Du and Philippe. What is the goal of this Alien World Fractal, Eden Fractal, and all those fractals indeed? It's to let the people build a collaborative culture, by adding value by collaborating. So it's not just that. It's more than just money. It's very do collaboration between the people, because if you come into the chat like today, maybe you will know someone that you have never imagined, and you will maybe connect with him and create a new collaboration. 1 + 1 = 3. You stay independent with your circle. That's fine. You just connect. And then you add value by collaborating, and you decide when you want to collaborate. No one forces you. It's your choice. And that's by participating like today, for example. That's let me come to the conclusion after 4 months of Eden Fractal and 6 months of Genesis Fractal by Daniel Larimer and the Alien World. All what is in common: know new people and maybe create new collaboration. So that's beautiful, I will say. So yeah, baby, continue to come into this Alien World. Alien World never dies. Continue to come. I don't know what you think, guys, but at least we do something great.
Yeah, sorry, I had the water running a minute. You know, I agree. I think that the consumer wants to feel as though they're part of what they're consuming. That that's a different type of satisfaction. There's a qualitative aspect of belonging to the company or identifying with the company. Okay, so there's a big story about sports fans. That is the story of fandom. Fandom is part of a culture of belonging, and what you're describing in that collaborative process is the satisfaction that comes uniquely with the sensation of belonging and being part of what you created, like enjoying the fruits of your labor, right? In that you're very happy to consume the thing that you chipped into. Comes with pride, right? You don't get that off the shelf at Walmart. You don't get like, yeah, this is great. I'm so glad I chipped in. You don't get that feeling, and that's qualitative satisfaction. That's important.
Okay. Yeah, totally. I think the breakout room that we are
Well, Jason, I think to your point about fandom, I think it's a feeling of shared culture, if you will, right? It's we all agree on this one particular thing, right? We may not agree on, and I'm sure in this group there's a myriad of political, social feelings, maybe not all that big. But in a fandom that you're describing, right? I think you can agree on one thing, right? And so there doesn't have to be an agreement on essentially anything else, right? And if you stray from what your cultural societal agreement is in your example, right? Then you're only going to find more division, right? Because people may have the same favorite soccer team or baseball team, right? But beyond that, there may not be any more commonality besides that, right? So maybe the impetus or the point, or I don't know how to describe this, but you don't want to stray outside of that, right? So like we all have commonality. That's why we're on this call, right? I'm sure if we started talking about political things and so forth, we would probably find that we would start to diverge very quickly, right? And I don't know that, but I'm making that assumption, right? And so allowing those to be kind of set aside, and your point about fandom, I think is kind of like the example of that is, oh, we all love the Mets, or we all love the Yankees, or Chelsea, or whatever that is. That is where the beginning and end of our societal or cultural kind of like connection is.
Well, where I was going with it is about cost of customer acquisition, about the NFTs as as a marketing catalyst, because marketing planning departments have an idea in mind for their cost of customer acquisition for lifetime value of a customer, and that loyalty is a big factor. But any product or service where their customers are more like fans than consumers, they get really strong customer loyalty, and then they can justify a much higher cost of customer acquisition. And that's true in sports franchises as well as other domains.
I had to give you a little bit of pushback on that. I don't think that because their fandom become or their customers become so loyal, they have to expect a higher customer acquisition cost. I think they have to expect a lower customer acquisition cost because they've already paid that price to acquire those customers. So I think I'll give you an example, right? So I was just talking to my brother, and he was hanging out with Shepard Ferry, who does Obey and all that stuff, right? He does a print.
Super cool. No, seriously.
And he'll do a print, and it'll sell out in a second. He'll do a 300 edition print for $100 a piece, and it sells out in literally like 1 second, right? Because his fans know, their fans are so adamant about buying his pieces, and they know the secondary market is so high that acquiring new customers, even if you did 1,000-piece print, wouldn't necessarily cost him any more to acquire those extra, 900, 700 customers, right? So that customer acquisition cost is basically zero for him, right? So I guess
it becomes self-fueling. It's not, that's the difference, is that it's a totally different approach to community development. It's to Patrick's point that like brands that have fans invite collaboration. Step one, right? Everyone needs to belong. Everyone needs to contribute. They need a special satisfaction and that comes from participation, and it needs to be regular.
And my point being,
it fuels itself. It fuels itself. At a certain point, there is zero cost of customer acquisition, because the art you're making is this profit center, and it is generating more fans at each piece.
Right, because I mean, he has 3,000 people that want to buy pieces. He has 300 pieces, right? So the acquisition of getting an extra 1,700 people or 2,700 people, to your point, is zero, right? So I guess my point being, I just want to give I just wanted to, like, you may give your counterpoint to what you're saying about customer acquisition has to go up. It has to. There's a ceiling to it, where if he did 50,000 pieces in a print, there would have to be more customer acquisition because the supply would outstrip the demand, right? But as long as you're within that demand curve, then your customer acquisition cost for new customers is zero. But how do you know where that line is, right? To your point, right? How do you know that if I did 500 I'm going to sell, or 10,000 I'm going to sell, or 50,000 I'm going to sell, right? And then having extra inventory or outstripping your demand now, especially in the art market, now kind of like deflates the value of that piece, because now anybody can get it. And that's not what the artist wants. That's not what Shepherd wants. It's not what, anybody wants.
All fans are different. They take all different group characteristics.
Of course.
And the objects of fandom as well can be multiform. It can be like in terms of scarcity value, that's one dimension of so many. In the realm of fandom is almost endless. There are fans of like colas.
Well, no, I get your point. And
inexplicable things that people like, they get a sense of belonging from that.
No, and I get your point. And that was a very specific example to like a limited edition piece, right? A limited edition kind of product, right? You're not going to say that there is necessarily like a scarcity argument with like Yankee caps, like caps that have New York Yankees on it. There's no scarcity argument there. Like yes, I mean, theoretically, there is a scarcity argument at some point because you're going to run out of people who like the Yankees.
They have collector edition special ones,
right? And then, but if you want
different Yankee hats.
Exactly, then you do all these variations, right? But like, you're not going to run out of, like, the scarcity argument doesn't apply to every product, right? Like, especially when they're basically fungible. Yeah. Right, to go back kind of the token argument, right? Is that like a Yankee cap is a Yankee cap? Yeah, there might be different variations on it, and some of them are going to be non-fungible and limited and so forth. But in the macro sense, they're all Yankee caps or Mets caps or whatever. I don't know what sports team you have up there in Canada. But
this is a good segue, because there is an economic quandary found in the economics of professional sports, and it bridges into Marco's point. No, it wasn't. It was Conan's point about the frenemies protocol, about how there's something consistent across this dynamic of frenemies and competition, and how people love that. They just love that. So sports fans build their support for the team right into their identity stack. They feel obligated to support the team. It's like half their job. And it's a universally accessible outlet for your wild oats, that you can show up at the game with crazy costume on and just basically go bonkers, and you get a social license for that. Everyone understands. In almost any other context, if you were to parade down the street in a crazy costume, right, drunk off your ass and hooting and hollering with a big trumpet thingy or something, going insane, right? People would be like, I wonder what's going on with that guy. Don't you think? But on game night, you can do that. The more you do that, the cooler you are.
I agree with you, Jason. I also think there's a like geographical reality to that, right? So if you're in Toronto and you're going for what is the Maple Leaves or whatever it is, right? Like they're gonna accept you in that costume much more because you're in Toronto. Like I think there's a like physical reality aspect to that as well, right? Is that you're not in I don't know, Edmonton or whatever it is. And you know, and I'm not saying that, you know, I'm just saying that like within that context is also geographical reality, right? Is that like I know that that person who's dressed up is not only a fan, but he's a fan of this particular region, right? And that also makes it like much more acceptable to be like, oh, of course he's doing that. Of course he's going to the Sky Dome like dressed like that. Like, oh,
Lisa unmuted. I think Lisa's got something to contribute on this. So she remuted. Okay, so there was a lot of contention around the economics of entertainment, like how much should a concert ticket cost and how much should a boxing match ticket cost. And it became clear that, I mean, it is a bit of an economics of luxury that only really holds up if the rest of Maslow's hierarchy is circulating in the broader economy. But the Beatles charged $35 for a concert ticket in 1968 in New York City. That was the most expensive concert to date in the world. At the time, in the 60s, throughout like everything up to the late 60s, a very expensive concert would be like $1, and that typically you'd pay a dime. You go to a concert, you pay a dime or $1. If there was a big stadium event, you might pay $3, you might pay $5. The Beatles famously apexed in the 68, 69, and John Lennon sort of marked the apex of their rise with, you know, just a momentary lapse in humility where he claimed the Beatles were more popular than Jesus, which statistically was true. I mean, statistically, the Beatles had more fans than the Catholic Church, or all combined. All the Catholics, all the Christians combined had fewer numbers than Beatles fans did. And then, like on paper, the Beatles were more popular than Jesus at the time. But you can imagine the backlash. That's a sacrilegious, arrogant, boastful, unnecessary claim. And it spoiled their fandom. And the price did too. But the price changed the economics of entertainment forever because they sold out the concert. They were at the peak of their, people who were following the Beatles in the late 60s were the vanguard of a revolution, and they knew it. They felt obligated to be at the concert because they were pretty sure the band was going to tell them the next step in their revolutionary course. That's why Beatles fans were happening. They had to be there. They didn't care it was too expensive, but they hated it. They complained. And they lost a lot of fans after that. And yeah.
Well, also John Lennon said it, right? I mean, John Lennon, you know, famously said that because they did sell out more tickets than the Pope when they were both playing in New York or wherever, or maybe, you know, at some particular like venue, right? Was that and that's why he made the comment, we're more popular than Jesus, was because it wasn't like, and if you go back and watch interviews with Lennon later, he didn't mean it as some sort of like hierarchy of values. He just meant it as, we literally, like, the Pope came to the venue and then we came to this venue and we sold more tickets. So, you know, it was kind of a tongue-in-cheek, like, we are more popular than Jesus, you know, kind of as kind of like a statement of reality, which of course got taken totally out of context and totally, like, you know, was, you know, what was a target on his back. But if you go back and, like I said, if you go back and like watch the interviews he did afterwards, he meant it as kind of like, oh, like, we sold more than the Pope, like, so we're more famous than Jesus, kind of like as an off cuff, you know, I'm smoking a ton of weed, you know, exactly, trying to be funny, eating a bunch of mushrooms, kind of comment.
it was funny. It was definitely funny, and it was definitely meant as a quip, and it was true, which is the essence of all good jokes. But it was quite obvious that the hippie movement was challenging the orthodoxy quite across the board, right? It was taken as
absolutely, and he knew that, and he knew that too. He knew the comparison he was making. You know.
Yeah, so this is the story of fandom. This is the turning point in fandom. Oh, wait, there's a better resource for this. Guys, check out WTF happened in 1971. This is a project.
You put in the chat?
Yeah, WTF happened in 1971. I'll put it in the chat. This is a project by Edward Snowden and Jack Dorsey. Because in 1969, the economics of entertainment and fandom changed forever. And then 1971, wait till you see this shit.
Oh, the bad things are always coming early.
Hey guys, I'm going to drop here. I've got to go get ready for my interview with Eric. So, but great seeing everybody and hanging out.
Awesome.
Thank you, Steven. Thank you, Steven. Have a great interview.
I'm gonna drop out myself. I just found out the Queen died in the UK, so it's
really,
yeah, family wants to talk about it and stuff, and yeah, 96 though, and what an age to go.
1971. Wow.
Yeah.
Actually, I have about 5 more minutes, Jason, for us to debate this, or for us to discuss, and then I have to go. I have another call here at noon too. So,
take care, everyone.
So, good luck with your new king code, man.
Thank you very much.
I was 6 this morning, my time, so 2 hours ago.
Sorry, Lisa?
I saw she was sick a few hours ago before I left, so she must have been really busy.
Yeah, unfortunately, she's passed away, but I mean, what a reign. She's outlived, I think, as like nearly every monarch in history, and 96 at the age that she went. That's not bad, you know. All right, see you later, everyone.
See you later.
Bye.
So I have not missed a lot.
I got about like 5 more minutes, and then I'm gonna jump off too. So
okay.
Yeah, I have to. I was just coming here to give you some respect and see you again, because I remember of the last one. That was my last one since maybe. Oh, I have missed a lot of Alien World Fractal. I was very involved into the Hidden Fractal with Dancing Joy and Felix Ruiz, and I was also joining the Saturday Genesis Fractal and Alien World. I have a little bit. It's difficult to be everywhere, so that's the problem.
Well, Patrick, I'm glad that we reconnected. I'm glad that we came back to the same week so we could reconnect. So
Sure.
I'm going to hit you up on Discord if you don't mind. I have questions and some topics.
You are welcome.
I want to discuss with you separately if you don't mind. If that's okay.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I have also a Discord channel named MindWeb Store. It's supposed to be the knowledge base of mindweb.io, because I am developing a bot. We say a bot, yeah. A Discord bot. I am already developing that is able to extract a Discord server or some channel into a Discord server and create automatically with that a mind map. So the Discord is a nice data source for mind map. And Telegram, I am not a fan of Telegram. I am more a fan of Discord, because the things are very well structured into channels, into threads, And that's very, if you build your Discord server like a knowledge base, that's the case of MindWeb Store. So if you search on Discord, MindWeb Store, you will find it's MW. It's easy. MindWeb MW. So at the beginning, I was creating it was named bullish on EOS, because you have this exchange bullish that was supposed to be something incredible. And once again,
no, I know bullish. Yeah, I know that story.
Brendan Blummer and all these people there.
Yeah.
A little bit scary, this thing of Block.1, huh? A little bit.
So you are just sorry, you're a Nova Crypto, right?
Yeah,
I
vote. Okay. Yeah, I am Nova Crypto, and my number on Discord I don't remember, but you will find. My handle is Nova Crypto LTD on Twitter and on YouTube, everywhere.
Okay, I just messaged you.
Yeah, I have accepted your invitation on Discord.
Yeah. Okay, so so I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, just to say, I was joining EOS in November 2017. I was interested about EOS in November 2017 when there was the dawn of EOS. And then I was joining in July 2018 EOS Nation to become an ambassador for EOS Nation. There was a program until last year, October 2021, named EOS Nation Ambassador. And you had ambassador in Nigeria, you had ambassador around the world, and myself, I am in Switzerland. And there was not a good traction into this EOS Nation Ambassador, because some people want to be, it's clear, it's logical, they want to be rewarded, at least receive some money for their job. When you are in Nigeria or Uganda, or that's not the same that to be in Switzerland or in Canada or in US. We are privileged to be into those countries. Let's say more chance with the money. So myself, I was never asking anything. I have never been paid by EOS Nation to be an EOS Nation ambassador. I was doing that naturally because I was thinking, okay, I am a software engineer, and if I do only development, that's already good, but that's not enough. I have to educate by doing the workshops, by doing the mind map, by doing something good for EOS. And when there was coming Pomelo on season 1, Pomelo season 1 was on October last year. That was the beginning. It's every 3 months that we have, every quarter that we have a new season in Pomelo. But it's only since last year. And I was thinking, wow, that's the perfect place to go for me, because that's a crowdfunding platform based on the quadratic matching formula. It's a new, Pomelo is the new Gitcoin. You have Gitcoin and you have Pomelo. The difference that Pomelo is on chain and Gitcoin is not on chain. All is on chain with Pomelo. And you have to create something non-exclusive. There are different rules. Something inclusive, let's say, something very public. And I was thinking, okay, mind mapping, what I want to create as mind mapping, that's only the beginning, because I create myself those mind maps. If I wait on someone else to create a mind map, I can maybe wait a long time. So I was thinking, I create myself those mind map, and I let the people to send their contribution to those mind map. At least that, to have some collaboration, but that's not enough. Mindweb.io, if you go on the website, or if you go into my Pomelo grant, it's entitled Your Visual Knowledge Base on EOS, and we help value content creator into the EOS ecosystem and beyond to turn their information into knowledge thanks to meaningful mind maps. That's the pitch of Mindweb.io. Then I can go 2 hours like that to explain what is really Mindweb.io. Really. That's supposed to be online and collaborative. Imagine if tomorrow we are able, and I want to create that. I need time. Everyone can create his mind map online. That will be a yeah baby experience.
Yeah,
and
I'm gonna look. I'm sorry, I have to run. I have a call.
Yeah, just to explain you why I am here, and for me it's natural to be collaborate indeed.
No, I want to.
I don't think about. No, I am a liar. I am also interested about some money for sure, but I said always,
of course, be self-interested.
We don't have to win. We deserve to win, but we don't have to. So if you think like that, good things are happening. You are maybe rewarded multiple times because you are doing something good for the people, and you will be rewarded in return multiple times because you have made the things with heart, soul, and mind. You have not think directly about that. You are thinking first with you.
I agree.
I am like that. Maybe it seems naive.
I'm sorry, but I have to run. So
sorry, extra.
My apologies. I want to keep the conversation going, but
nice to meet you again. And
if I'm late talking to these investors, it's gonna be a bigger problem.
I don't think about the investor for the moment. I don't think about
anyway,
that.
good to talk to you guys. I'll talk to you guys later.
Thank you. Bye bye.
All right, have a good day.
And Jason, we are here, and machine. No, sorry. I always say machine, but because when I reading Mac, it's Mac and bird. Sparrow.
There's two mocks. There's a mockingbird spelled M-O-C.
Yeah.
And then there's Mach, M-A-C-H, which is the speed of sound.
Yeah, the speed of the flight. Yeah. When I was reading that for the first time, I was thinking about machine, but it is not that. It is about flying.
You're the first one. You're the first. I didn't notice that until you said it, because I see only aviation. That's all I see. So yeah,
no, that was not disrespectful. That was not disrespectful. That was just that I was reading that with my Swiss English, and I was not realizing indeed that you are a flight instructor, or you have a lot of flight experience. And I was thinking afterward that I was a bastard to state that it's machine bird.
I've had the name since before Bitcoin, if you look it up online. And you would,
Exactly.
It wasn't until that you said it that I saw that. And that's how you spell machine. It's just missing the I. So that's how blind I am to aviation.
I have a lot of respect for what you are doing, by the way.
Oh, thank you. So do I. You were top notch. You did a lot of marketing early on when you first came in. On Twitter,
I was not supposed to do marketing. I was supposed to code, just to code. Wow. And I was thinking that's boring, because I do software engineering and coding since 25 years that I am doing coding, and I know what it is. I have experienced it a lot, and still today I do consulting, BI, data analytics, all this stuff. But what it is more important for me now, it's about let's know the people what we are doing. And I am not, you will say I'm promoting myself, by the way, but I want to promote also the others. So I am interviewing all the people that I see a good potential. So that's possible that I will interview Jason tomorrow. That's possible that I will interview Marco. That's possible that I will interview Jorge Ramos. I want to let those people succeed, because you are here since the beginning with your newsletter and all. That's not new. But when I was seeing the briefings, the new name, I was doing a shout out to you, because there was also Michael O'Sullivan telling me, yeah, we have a newsletter now on Bywire by Marco Gonzalez. And he stated to me, do a little shout out. And I was thinking, okay, I have 1,600 subscribers on my Twitter. I should give you some respect. That's natural.
That was nice. I just wanted to clarify that. I like to joke and stuff like that, but
don't take that to the first degree, because sometimes I don't see myself I don't understand myself what I say.
Oh no, don't worry about it.
And after that, that could be seen like that I am a kinda of bastard, but a good bastard.
I'm from Jersey, if you know what that means.
Yeah, we try to do the best here. You know, because tomorrow maybe it's finished. All is finished. I don't want to have regret. I want to think that I have done something great for this planet with the people that I have met. And I have never met you in person. That's incredible. We are just speaking here in a Zoom, and we are not even have a real connection. But it seems to be that there is a connection. We are connected. We are.
I think so. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and more than that, we are sometimes very in alignment.
The mind maps is something that I believe more people should know about. They should be using
but
it.
For the moment, it's like a joke because I speak for me. This mind map for me is just, for the moment, is not what I want to. Is not what I want to see. I want to create a really collaborative online platform where the people with a builder online, a knowledge management builder online on my website can create their mind map directly online. That Jason can create a mind map directly online. And then Marco, he see the mind map of Jason and he say, oh, nice. I want to enrich the mind map of Jason with a new branch that is also your mind map. Like this, Jason is the owner of his mind by doing his mind map. Marco is the owner of his mind by doing his mind map. But when he connects his mind map with the mind map of Jason, 1 + 1 = 3, and that's do a fractal mind map. And that has nothing to do, I don't say fractal mind map because I am biased by fractally, nothing at all. That's in essence, in nature, all is fractal. A tree with branch is fractal, all is fractal. So a mind map is representing what? A tree, a mind map is a tree with branch. So you have standalone mind map that are pointing to no other mind map, and you have fractal mind map that are pointing to other mind map. So imagine a new guy coming into EOS and he wants to know more about EOS.
Hey, you see the plane? I'm taking off to the next generation of DAOs hosted by Joshua Seymour. They got a couple people there. It's not real popular, but really nice talking to you. And yeah, mind maps.
You know what? I'm interested in doing that. Is everybody interested in doing that?
What?
Next generation of DAOs with Josh Seymour?
I was not able to attend. That was yesterday, no?
No, it's today. It's right now. Yesterday was the marketing. Yeah.
So I am able to join now. So it's now?
Yeah.
Okay, I will go. He was going. Okay. So I have to go also because I am very interested. So Jason, if you want to go also. We see us. Nice. Okay. See you guys. See you, Lisa. And okay. Bye. Okay. Bye. Bye.
Jason just joined here too.
Bye.
Lisa, it's been a while. What's new?
I know. Good to see you. I'm like, where's the? I'm driving, so I'm like, where's the link? Where am I supposed to be? It uses auto dial every time.
Are you on the road?
Yeah.
Fair enough. What's on your radar? What have you been up to lately? I know you're doing workshop games.
Oh yeah. Well, I'll tell you when. Call me back sometime if you're going to listen to the thing. Call me later. We'll catch up.
Okay, sounds good. We're gonna hop off and go Josh Seymour, Future of DAOs for a minute.
If you'll post it in Crown or something, I'll click on too.
Okay, sounds good. I'll find it.
Thanks, Jason. Talk to you later.
See you there.